All right, boys, let's overreact to the draft for the second time. We did it in Summer League. Now let's do it again for the preseason. I think Klingon is the only guy who has not played in preseason yet that I want to see, but for some reason the Blazers don't play their first game until the day after I'm doing this, and I just didn't want to wait that long. And as always, if I miss somebody, my bad. And I want to start with Zach Edey because I haven't talked about him yet, who played with almost the actual Grizzlies team. Jaren did not play, and Ja went down kind of early with an injury. Hopefully Ja is good. Anyway, also the Mavericks did not play Luka and Kyrie. So first off, I thought Edey looked fine when it came to just running up and down the court. And then as far as half-court defense, I mean, he was in drop coverage for some stretches, and he was only recorded with one block, but it felt like he effectively got more than that. But he did also have moments where he was more of a perimeter defender, where he ended up switched onto Dinwiddie or Najee Marshall, or he had to just come out and contest like a Dinwiddie 3. And he looked not bad in these situations. I'm not saying that he looked like Bam or anything. And yeah, Dinwiddie made 1-3 over him. Najee had him backpedaling a little bit on the pull-up 2 that he took, but again, I thought Edey looked okay. With his best one being probably the first one, like 30 seconds into the game, where he held up well against Dinwiddie on a drive, and then Dinwiddie turned it over. So while it's just one game, if you were very skeptical about his ability to guard outside of the paint, I think he did better than you would have thought. As far as his offense, honestly, I thought his screen setting could have been better. I'm confident it will be. He did pick up an offensive foul on the one screen he had with Ja. Another time he screened for Bane to get a little pull-up too. Cool. Had a couple of lob finishes. We know he can do that. Nice hook shot later on in the game. He did have 5 fouls in 18 minutes. That's a lot. Anyway, that's Edey. And I do feel like Edey is going to have random games this year where he just kind of dominates for a 4 or 5 minute stretch. He just puts the opposing team center in foul trouble, gets a whole bunch of offensive rebounds, gets a block on the other end. Memphis crowd's going crazy. Now let's talk Reed Shepherd. The shooting form as well as his handle still looks as clean as it did in Summer League. The first game against the Jazz, he took almost nothing but pull-up jumpers coming off of screens. Second game, you still saw some, but it was a little more diverse, with my favorite thing so far being him ghosting a screen for Cam Whitmore and then him getting a 3 off of that. I think getting as many catch-and-shoot 3s for Reed Shepherd as the Rockets can will be huge, because you know the percentages on those are going to go crazy. I mean, don't get me wrong, his pull-up looks good. He shot a better percentage on pull-ups in the second game as opposed to the first one, but he's stepping into these pull-up 2s or pull-up 3s with confidence. The form, of course, looks great. I'm just assuming his catch-and-shoot numbers are going to go crazy. And, of course, they got dudes who can kick out to him, Şengün and Fred, depending on the lineups that we see. Shepherd and Amen, of course, can get downhill and make a play. Besides that, I do like how Shepherd is looking to throw outlet passes whenever he can. And then defensively, I mostly paid attention to his defense in the second game against OKC. I thought his screen navigation was good, got around a number of screens, one that resulted in him getting a steal on a pass. He did get bodied once by J-Dub in a one-on-one, and that is the one fear with Shepherd. Like, the screen nav is good, deflections and all that project to be good. It's just, when he's just going up against, like, a strong one-on-one guy who just outweighs him, what's it going to look like? But yeah, like Shepherd. Now let's go to Risa Shea, who had a very efficient 18 points. His 3-ball looks quick and compact, not a lot of wasted movement in it. I like the fact that we got to see him take a few 3s that were more than just him being wide open in the corner. It was like in transition where he didn't have all day to take the shot. As far as how he interacted with Trey in the not so many minutes they played together, well, Trey did get him one of those transition 3s. Besides that, he was mostly just spotting up, watching Trey just be Trey, pick and rolls, all that. Speaking of screen actions, we saw Risa Shea screening on the ball for Kobe Buffkin or DeAndre Hunter. One of the time he just pulls off a center impression to get a dunk. Another time he had a really quick finish around the dunker spot. And that's pretty intriguing, and I would love to see him get to that with Trey more often. And then as far as his handle, I think Risa Shea, he's definitely not bad. As far as creation in the half court, it's probably better to have him moving off ball and then catching it on the move right now. But he can bring it up in transition, including that one between the legs pass to Capella that was good. There was one random play where he was really pressured in the backcourt and he busted out a couple of moves to get the ball up court. And he did have some nice just connective transition passes, stuff like that in the flow of the game. And then as far as the defense, I continue to just like his energy there, whether it's a lot of swipe-ins at the ball from the corner or the wing. I thought he had 3 really good closeouts in the game. So I think Risa Shea is good, I just don't know what his ceiling is. Granted, that's the vibe for a lot of this draft. Now let's talk Stephon Castle, who's played 2 games so far. Second game went much better than the first one. First one, he had 6 turnovers against OKC. He's not going to be the only guy getting a bunch of turnovers versus the Thunder this year. Second game, 17 points, 10 free throw attempts, 2 for 5 from 3. That's how you be efficient. The free throws were a lot of him just being fearless, man, whether it was in transition with Mo Wagner waiting for him at the rim, or one great catch and drive past Mo where he had to bust out a Euro step and just kind of slither through a few defenders. The 3s, he was not hesitating at all. And then defensively, I really liked Stephon Castle's ball pressure against the Magic, where sometimes he was picking up Suggs, basically in the full court. Anthony Black or Cole Anthony, similar thing. He had one steal, and I think it was Cole Anthony from behind after pressuring him full court. He had one really good double team on Paolo. Paolo also scored on him in a 1v1 later on. And then there was also one possession where I was like, this is the foundation of a great defense one day, where Castle was just all over Franz around a screen, and then Wemby was waiting for him at the rim. Dare I say, I do get a little bit of like Marcus Smart vibes from Castle, where it's like, just put him in the game and he's going to make something happen. He did have a nice pick and pop with Mamu. Now for Alex Sarr, he's taken 10 threes in 2 games. He's currently 5 for 10 from outside. That's good. And he also had one shot where his foot was on the line. So if you had any doubts about the type of shots he was looking to take, he's had some rolls to the basket as well. I don't want to act like he's only shooting threes. His 3-ball does have a bit of a wind-up to it. It's not like super slow, but it's not super fast either. And it feels like offensively for Sarr, like it's going to be a lot of just catch and shoots, catching it on the roll, maybe bust out a dribble here and there. But as far as like creation, post stuff, I don't think you're going to see a lot of that early on for Sarr. I focused more on his first game than his second one. When he was at center and Valanciunas was on the bench, they did allow him to get into like some more handoff actions, which helped him get to like 4 assists. And then defensively, this was my takeaway from, the whole draft process, but also seeing him in Summer League. He can cover ground on defense, man. One time when he helped out at the rim and then closed out all the way to the 3-point line and had a really good contest on a Grady Dick 3. Now, he also had a couple of switches where I thought his contests could have been better, and we all know he's got to get stronger, but still, the signs are there for him defensively to be a versatile defender. Offensively, he's definitely going to get some shots up. Now let's go to Dillingham, who had 21 points on good efficiency against the Lakers. It felt like the whole Rob Dillingham experience pretty much to me, where you got the stuff to be excited about him with, the shiftiness on the ball, the pull-up shooting around screens, floaters around screens, confident threes, catch and shoots or off the dribble. But then you also got to see some of the finishing questions for him against NBA defenders, as well as how he looks defensively. Now, to go back to the offense, I liked how there were plays where he was very quick to try to get into a 2-man game with either Naz Reid or a lot of Luka Garza. And I do feel like him and Naz Reid doing that in the regular season, like that could be a really good 2-man game off the bench for him. As far as the finishing, he got blocked by Max Christie in a 1-on-1 on a fast break. He got blocked by Bronny on a chase down. He had a couple of misses where he still created separation. He's a quick, small guard. But then once he got to the rim, maybe like he released a little too quick or whatever. That's the type of thing where I feel like he can figure it out. Defensively, he got lost in a couple of Jackson Hayes screens. He got bullied by Hood Schifino the very first play that Hood Schifino had the ball, even if Hood Schifino missed the layup, but I don't think that was really because of Dillingham. Defensively, the Wolves have the roster to cover for him. They're just going to have to do it when the real games start. But yeah, he looked like the microwave scorer that the Wolves are hoping he can be. And we'll go to Dillingham's teammate, Terrence Shannon. The drives have continued. He had 6 free throw attempts in like 20-something minutes. He's going at Rui and Jackson Hayes on a drive. Doesn't care who's in front of him. We'll see what his minutes are like. Next up, Ron Holland. I don't know what Holland's percentages are going to be this year, but I do know he's going to play hard. Between ball pressure, transition, getting on the boards, he also seems to have a bit of an eye for just ending up in the right spot for like a swing pass or a broken play assist. In the games he's had so far, like I talked about in the previous video, I liked some of his one-on-one defense against Dame in the Suns game. Like he had a couple of nice possessions on Beal where he's just pressuring him, or Tyus or Book. He did have one possession on Book where he fouled him, but before the foul, the defense was good. But it was also physical, so he's got to find the perfect balance of like being physical but still being disciplined, and obviously refs might give you a harsher call if you're a rookie. He has not made a 3 yet so far. As far as the finishing goes, sometimes his drives are kind of erratic, and sometimes he's just like beating everybody down the court for a transition dunk. Similar to Holland, Tijan Salon continues to play really hard. His threes have been going in, and it's not just catch and shoots, it's like jab steps in the corner where it's like, wait, what? We all know LaMelo can create those shots for you. It's still an adventure whenever he has the ball in his hands. Defensively, I was watching his defense in the Miami game. He certainly had attempts as a help defender where like you can see the framework of this 6'9", possibly 6'10" dude with over a 7-foot wingspan getting these straight up contests helping out of the corner or the wing. That said, it didn't feel like Miami really felt him that much, if you will. They found a way to score around him or he committed fouls. He did have one nice one-on-one defensive possession against Jimmy. But still, with his length, athleticism, and just how hard he plays, and with, by all accounts, Charles Lee really, really caring about defense on this Hornets team, I think there's a pathway for him to become a really good team defender, help defender, but it's going to take some time. Now let's talk Booz Ellis. Offensively, I keep having the same feelings with this dude, which is he's confident and he's aggressive. And he's got the handle/desire to get into the paint. And because I'm a weirdo, my favorite play from him in the game was just a simple catch and drive into a kick out to Io for a 3. Mostly because it all happened in like 2 seconds. Like he had to make a very quick read. He made the read. Good stuff. Defensively, I thought And this is just the first half where the Cavs had their actual team playing. It felt like through just flow of the game stuff or him ending up on Mobley or Allen, he had to be basically the main rim protector on some of these plays, which felt like a little too much against a good Cleveland team in his first preseason game as a forward and not a center. He does project well as a help defender. I'm just talking at this point. Who haven't I talked about yet? Cody Williams, he'll be fine. I know his stats haven't popped out like that yet. He'll be fine. He was very good in Summer League, just a lot of catch and shoot, catch and drive, making right plays. Bub Carrington, yeah, the Summer League numbers looking a little better than the preseason ones through 2 games. He's taking similar shots, good amount of pull-ups. They just haven't been dropping. Of course, in college, he was the mid-range guy. Dalton Connect, he has not shot well from 3 in the preseason so far. I thought in the Wolves game he was able to get himself like a couple of drives or cuts off of the threat of his jump shot. Defenders closing out hard to him or just kind of staying glued to him. Jared McCain, as of me doing this, the Sixers have not played an NBA team yet in preseason, so I'm not putting a lot of stock into it. But everybody likes him as a role player. Speaking of role players, the Suns may have found one who can help him out right away in Ryan Dunn. Everybody loved Ryan Dunn's defense coming out of college, and you could see in that Pistons game, like he had a number of good defensive possessions just guarding Cade one-on-one, but the 3 ball's been going in so far, and that was a huge question for him was the offense. Iguodaro's had some moments as well, but, Nurkic is going to start at center. Plumlee's going to be the backup. We'll just see how his minutes go in time. Khalil Ware continues to show off that he can roll to the rim as well as make a jump shot out of a screen. Just got to keep on with getting as much contact on his screens as he can, in my opinion. He did have 4 blocks versus the Hornets. That's a big number in only 16 minutes. 3 of them were in like a 10-second span, so that's cool. The Hornets did still get a few baskets around the rim with Ware protecting the basket. But still, you can definitely see why Miami picked this dude for his offensive talent, and then defensively, I've said the potential of him playing next to Bam before. I'm definitely not the only one.